back to my channel Aprovechito. Today I am bringing you my perfect hummus. And when I say perfect hummus, I mean perfect hummus. I became a vegetarian when I was 17 for like 6 months to a year. I don't remember because I was 17. And I made hummus for the first time when I was 17, and it was god awful, and I followed an online recipe. Since then, I hadn't made hummus in years until 2022 when I was traveling and cooking in Portugal and had a crap ton of vegetarians around me that I had to cater to. So that's when I started kind of perfecting and messing with a hummus recipe. And as always, I'm not going to give you an exact recipe because a lot of it is going to be to your taste. But I'm going to share with you the ingredients and the amounts, and you can taste it and see what you like. So today, I'm going to show you how to make a perfect hummus. And what I love the most about this hummus is that basically it's a hummus base, meaning it's just kind of plain hummus, if you will, but you can make it whatever you want. You can add beetroot to make it a beetroot hummus. You can add special spices. You can add like a roasted red pepper if you want to make roasted red pepper hummus. Don't make this a chocolate hummus because the garlic is going to ruin it. But outside of that, I'm just going to kind of show you the base hummus, which I just love because shout out to my partner who's also a vegetarian. We eat a lot of this. So it just is something simple, quick, fresh, and nice to always have in the fridge, whether it's something to snack on, make lunches with, or if you're having friends over. To give you guys a rundown of what ingredients we're going to be using today. Obviously garbanzos of your choice. I like using canned ones. They're just easier and it tastes just as good. It's so simple. We're going to be using some fresh parsley. We're going to be using some yellow lemons and some garlic and extra virgin olive oil, as well as tahini, cumin, and salt and pepper to taste. Since I moved out of the US recently, I don't have access to everything I used to have, and I haven't gone to a specialty grocery store yet. But one of the things that I love to add to my plain hummus is sumac. So if you have any, add it in, not only when we're actually blending it together, but also to garnish after. So good. It adds like just a nice earthy depth to it. But until I have sumac, I'm going to be making it without sumac today. Another thing I don't have in my kitchen right now, since I don't have all my normal tools, is a food processor. So today I'm going to be using NutriBullet, which is going to do the trick, and it's going to help me get the hummus to the smooth, creamy texture I want. Just make sure that you have something that's got a powerful blade, but definitely if you have a food processor, that's been my best bet. So I'm going to start with the garlic. Here guys, again, just make sure that you're doing this to taste. I'm going to do 4 cloves. I found that that's kind of a sweet spot for what I like with 1 can of garbanzos. And again, because this is a recipe just for 1 can, you can amend it and adjust it if you're making more or less. Let's see. So I'm going to start with 4. I have mentioned this in other videos, but the best way to get your garlic peeled is to cut off both ends. Then you're going to take your knife, smash down on it a little bit, and that's really going to allow that peel to just come off nice and easy so you can undress the garlic with not too much of a problem. Now that the garlic is chopped, I'm going to go ahead and combine the rest of the ingredients in the blender. So you can just go ahead and put everything in here straight away. When it comes to the lemons, I suggest squeezing them in a separate container, which allows you to remove any seeds if any of them happen to pop in while you're squeezing, because they're just so bitter. And I've had one in my hummus before and by accident, and that's why I always take them out ahead of time now. They're really hard to miss. So I'm gonna be squeezing, let's see, 3 lemons today. I'm gonna squeeze 3 lemons today because I think that's gonna give me the flavor profile I'm looking for. See, there's a little seed that just got in there. And if I haven't already mentioned it in this video, highly suggest having a special trash bowl. High suggestion, high tip, which makes your cooking easier, simpler, and much cleaner. These lemons are pretty juicy, so that will affect how much additional liquid we add later to get the consistency we want. So just keep that in mind when you're adding lemon juice. We'll add a healthy drizzle of olive oil, probably what's equivalent to 5 or 6 tablespoons of olive oil. Hearty tablespoons, if you can't tell. I like some olive oil. Additionally, I'm gonna add tahini, probably what's equivalent to about 10 to 12 tablespoons. But again here, I'm definitely going to be relying on my tasting skills to get the right amount. I have this little nifty guy from Costa Rica. Shout out to my partner who brought this back for me. We're gonna be adding some salt and some pepper. For the cumin, I'm going to, let me see, sometimes I like to use this how to measure with. I don't know if this is a legitimate measurement or not. Let's go with that much. And again, we're just truly gonna give it a taste and see how it's tasting after I've buzzed it up in the blender. Last thing I'm gonna do is chop some parsley to add in, and then I'm going to give it a nice zap and we'll taste it. So I've added some parsley, and now we're gonna give it a nice zap. Okay. If it does that, mix it around, and on this one, I'm gonna add a little bit of liquid. So I'm just going to be adding some filtered water to get it to the correct texture. Depending on the flavor, you might also want to add lemon juice if you want to make it a little more sour, but the water is going to just help break it up. Very pretty color because I did use fresh parsley, so it has a really nice green tint to it. If you don't use fresh parsley, you're not going to have this color. So now I'm essentially just gonna give it a taste. It's for me, so I'm gonna use my fingers. Oh my God. That fresh parsley, game changing. If you don't want it to have such a strong parsley taste, use dried parsley. Sorry guys, that's really good. So because I use a NutriBullet, this is actually a bit more liquid than it would be if I'm using a food processor. So just keep that in mind. And the lemons had a lot of juice in them, so that also gave it a nice tang. If you want it to be less lemony, start with 1. If you're a little lemon shy, which I'm not, start with one and then see if you want it to have a little more acidity. I'm actually gonna add a little more tahini to this one just because it's so lemony. That's gonna help balance it out. And I'm also gonna add a little extra cumin because the parsley is really strong because it's fresh. So I'm gonna add an extra dash there. And regarding the tahini, there we go. And I'll blend it again. All right, now with the extra tahini, perfect. That's exactly what it needed. Because it was so lemony, the tahini has such an earthiness to it and almost like a nuttiness that it's gonna help ground that acidity. So this is why I created this channel, was to give some tips when things like this happen. You always want your acidity to be under control. It's gonna really help brighten, whether it's hummus or something else you're making, but then there's additional ingredients that you can include if you've gone a little over on the acidity to help ground the whole dish back. In this case, it was some extra tahini. I could also add a little more garlic if I wanted, but the tahini is really what's going to ground that acidity back down. The only bad news that I have to share with you about the hummus is that once you start homemaking hummus, you will not like store-bought hummus anymore. If you go to a really nice Mediterranean restaurant that has great hummus, you'll enjoy it, but you're kind of gonna ruin yourself, so I'm just giving you a heads up, but you just saw how easy it is to make at home, so don't be scared and try it with different flavorings. I'm gonna go ahead and plate this and we'll give it a try. Pro tip, learning how to plate something makes it taste 75% times better. So I just went ahead and spooned the hummus into this bowl. I'm gonna finish it off with a generous drizzling of olive oil, which makes it look beautiful, but also tastes so delicious. And I'm just gonna spread that. And then I went ahead and chopped a little bit of fresh parsley, so we're gonna add that on top. There you have it, guys. Fresh hummus, serve it with fresh bread or crudité, or put it in a salad, a wrap, however you like to eat it. Please try this recipe. Let me know what you added or took away from it and how you liked it. If you haven't already, please go ahead and like this video and subscribe to my channel. I'd love to keep coming up with more content for you. And if there's something specific that you'd like to see me do or something you want me to change, please leave a comment. I would love to hear your feedback. Provechito, my friends. So good.